basically, you've been told the rule, right? The TN is, you know, we called it the term-to-term rule a minute ago. Yeah? In the previous section. Right? This is the form of the rule where N stands for the number of the term. So N stands for the number of the term. Right. So for part 1, I have to write out the first 4 terms. So I have to write out what T1 is. I have to write out what T2 is. Term number 1. Term number 2, I have to write out what term number 3 is. And I have to write out what term number 4 is. Is that okay? So that's what they want me to do. Is everyone okay with me? Everything so far? So the T stands for what? Term. What does N stand for? The number of the term. So which term? So if it's term number 1, if it's the first term, N is 1. Agreed? If it's the second term, N is 2. If it's the 100th term, N is 100. Right? Okay? So to get the first term into this rule, everywhere I see an N, what will I put in? 1. So it's 3 times 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. Isn't it? So the first term in the sequence is 3. Term number 2. Everywhere I see an N, what will I put in? So 3 times 2 is 6. Everywhere, for term 3, what will I put in? Everywhere I see an N, put in a 3. So 9. Yeah? For this one, everywhere I see an N, I put in a 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. Now, even if they wanted more, right? Okay, I don't have to substitute anymore, because look, what am I adding every time? 3 goes to 6, I'm adding 3, aren't I? 6 goes to 9, I'm adding 3. So I'm adding 3. So I wouldn't have to work out the next term. What's the next term? 15, isn't it? What's the term after that? 18 or whatever. Once you've got the first few, you can get the pattern. Is that okay? Right? And then the second part of this question was, what's term number 20? So that means everywhere I see an N, put in a 20. So it's 3 times 20, and 3 times 20 is 60, isn't it? So if I was to keep going for 20 terms, I'd end up at 60. Is that alright? Does that make sense to everyone? Yes. 3N. See it? 3N. It's in the rule. They tell you that in the question. Okay, so they'll tell you TN in the question. Okay? So you'll get the rule, right, in the question. Okay? So it's 3 multiplied by 1. That 3N means 3 multiplied by N. So for term 1, it's 3 by 1. For term 2, it's 3 by 2. For term 3, it's 3 by 3. Term 4, 3 by 4. Term 20, 3 by 20. Okay? I'll do a second example now, and it might hit home a bit better. Okay? So example 2, can I move it up? So you're writing that down, finishing off the example from yesterday, yes? Okay? Is it done? Right. Are we sure, everyone? Right. Example 2. So example 2 is going to tell me Tn is equal to 2n minus 1. Right? Okay, so that's the rule. Right? And the question is, write out the first 4 terms. The first 4 terms, and then we'll go find T50. So what does T50 mean? Term number 50. So if you were to write out the list for 50 numbers, what will the 50th number be? Could you write out the list for the 50 numbers? Of course you could. Right, you'd be there a while though, right? But that's perfectly fine, right? So write out the first 4 terms. So which terms am I looking for? I'm looking for term number 1. I'm looking for term number 2, term number 3, and I'm looking for term number 4, because they said write out the first 4 terms. Okay, so for term number 1, into the rule, everywhere I see an n, what will I put in? A 1, right? So it's 2n minus 1, so I'm going to go, that's 2 times 1 minus 1. Into the calculator with that and press equals and you get 1. So the first term in that sequence is 1. Okay? Right. For term number 2, what I do? Everywhere I see an n, put in a 2. So it's 2 times 2 minus 1, which is 3. Can you guess what term number 3 is going to turn out to be? 5. Because they're linear sequences, that means you're adding on the same number each time. Right? But we'll go through the motions. So for term number 3, everywhere you see an n, put in a 3. So it's 2 times 3 minus 1. 2 3s are 6, take away 1 is 5. Right? If this is not good for you, type it as you see it into the calculator and press equals, job done. Okay? And term number 4, everywhere I see an n, put in a 4. So it's 2 times 4 minus 1, which is 7. Okay, are we good? Okay, and then part 2, they want me to jump up to term number 50. So for term number 50, everywhere I see an n, put in a 50. So it's 2 times 50, take away 1. Okay, so 2 times 50, take away 1 will be 99. So if you were to keep going in that sequence, the 50th number you write down would be 99. Is that okay? Are we good?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Okay, right now if I see, I just want to, I'm going to put these up, right, okay, and I'm going to ask you very quickly to do the odd numbers, okay, so the odd numbers, so do number 1, then do number 3, right, then do number 5, 7, 9, etc., or 5, 7, 9, and that's the end of the page, right, okay, I'll put the page up in Teamsy, right, that's what we're doing now, because I want to make sure you can do this bit before we move on to the next, okay? What was I doing? Teams, and you are, what are you, third years? I nearly called you second years. Oh my god, would you be highly insulted? Okay, post picture, camera.
Excuse me, please, could the following come to reception now? Quiva Lally, Ellie Maloney, Catherine Galvin and Clodagh McMahon. Also Rocio Revilla Pascual and Mariam Yacoub. Thank you.
Sorry girls, it's coming, it's just I cut off all the numbers. Yeah. Yeah, go, yeah. Okay, it should be there now. Okay, but when you're number 1 and number 3 and number 5 done, tell me and I'll move it down to 7 and 9, okay? Sorry. Actually, don't do number 7, it's really long. Right, so we'll just do 1, 3, 5 and 6. So, right, okay, so do 1, 3, 5 and 6, okay, because, no. Was anyone on to number 9? He couldn't have been, right? Right, okay, so there, I put dots beside them, 1, 3, 5 and 6. We okay? Anyone stuck on anyone? Okay, and girls, just to let you know, on Tuesday you're in room 16 for your maths exam. Okay? Dee got that, didn't she?
Yeah.
Right, you all know you're all together. My maths class will go to room 16 and you're all in room 16 for your maths exam on Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, it's on your timetable as well, is it?
Yeah.
That's fine, so just to make sure. Mr. McKenna said to make sure you know.
What question is it?
1, 3, 5 and 6. They got the black dots on them. Yes.
Can I go to the toilet?
Yeah. Are we done? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put up the, who's not done, just a quick show of hands. Right, nearly done, nearly there? Or, right, 2 more minutes, so and I'll put up the answers then, and then you can tell me which ones you want me to do. Okay? It's on page 421. Right, I'm going to put up the answers, so, right, okay, so, they're down here. Page, these are, it's in exercise 18.3. So 1 to 6 there. So correct them, right, okay, and then we'll see which ones you want me to do, if any. Right? Ready? All done correcting? Right, okay. So let's go back and I'll ask you, does anyone need me to do any bit of number 1? Any bit of number 1? Were you all able to write out the first 4 terms of each one? Are we sure? Make sure you say it now if you're not. Okay. Number 3. Does anyone need me to do any bit of number 3? No? Anyone? No. Right. Number 5. Yeah, number 5. I'll explain 5 to you, of course. Right. Okay. So number 5 says, here's a sequence and explain why it's linear. So number 5, part 1 is 3, 8, 13, 18, ... Right? Okay. So what you do is you look and you say, well, to go from 3 to 8, how do I go from 3 to 8? I added on 5. Right? And from 8 to 13, I added on 5. And from 13 to 18, I added on 5. So then you're writing the sentence, so you're adding 5 each time. Adding 5 each time. And that makes it a linear sequence.
So if you just skip that part.
Yeah, so this is a linear sequence. A linear sequence. Okay? Is that alright? Do you want me to do part 2 or are you okay with part 2? Right, okay. Right, is everyone okay with that? Make sure you answer the question, okay? So in maths you could be writing words, okay? So please don't hold back on the words. If they always read the question, the first thing you do is read the question, then you answer it, and then you go back and read the question again to make sure you've answered what they asked you, right? So the first thing you do is read the question, the last thing you do is read the question. Is that clear to everyone? Because sometimes you forget what you've been asked and you end up doing all the wrong things. So first thing, read the question. Last thing, before you move on to the next question, read the question again to make sure you've answered what's asked, right? That was number 5. Does anyone need me to do any bit of number 6? No, right, okay. The shuffling has started. Yeah, well, I still have 1 minute, but she can go. Right.